Hello again, and welcome back to Illegally Cited. This is BGFH, and I'm back for another quick Kickstarted video. This is not for a game or piece of software this time. This is for an interesting little project that I want to say got funded, what was it, early to mid 2016 or so. And what we're looking at here is a couple little devices called Fidget Cube, or they're Fidget Cubes. So what are Fidget Cubes? These are kind of like little geeky, like a little geeky version of a stress ball or a koosh ball, or for something really just to kind of fidget with. So, if you are in, you're sitting in front of a computer waiting for your progress bars, or you have it and you're waiting in a waiting room or in line, or you're in a boring meeting, I mean, of which, there are no such things as those, but, you're in these situations where you're bored, you just want to fidget with something, some people click a pen, or, play with the pick at something on the table, or, whatever they do, you don't want to just sit there, you have to play with something. And, around the time of the Kickstarter, it was kind of funny, coincidentally timed, because I had this koosh ball thing that I had for years. I had brought it to work because I was like, I'm sitting in front of my desk, I said, waiting for progress bars, or, the odd time where I just like, I want to, fidget with something. And all of a sudden it just kind of up and disappeared. And then my friend told me about this this Kickstarter, and I also heard about it quite a bit on Twitter and various tech and geeky sites. And so I thought, hey, you know what? These are cheap enough. Why not? Let's check out this Fidget Cube. So I have two of them here. I kind of bought two. Got a deal on them for being a Kickstarter backer. And I got one for work, and I got one for home. So I'm going to put one on by my keyboard over there at home here, and then I'm going to bring one to the office, and then I will have something to play with at either place. So what are they? Fidget Cubes. They are these tiny little cubes. They are, like a dice sort of a thing. They're bigger than dice, but they're, I don't know how big I would say they were, but they're, you can tell just by, I can hold them easily in between two fingers here. But they're actually kind of, they're satisfying. So they have a lot of these little tactile toys that you can play with. So this side is kind of empty. I'll start here, and this is just kind of like a place you can probably rest your finger or whatever. So I'll flip it up this way, and I'll do it for both, so you can see both color schemes. I'll talk about those in a minute. So you've got this, one of them is a little toggle switch. Light goes on, light goes off. There you go. Just a little switch you can play with. Flip it over again, and you have, these are kind of cool. It's like a little analog stick nub. So like if you've ever played with the Nintendo 3DS, it's not a full analog stick, but you've got this kind of, this tactile stick thing it slides. You just kind of take your thumb and go, slide it around, and that's your kind of analog stick thing. Flip it over again, and you have, it looks like a 5 on some dice, but these are actually buttons. So, and they're not all the same. So what's cool about this is you can find, again, one of the things they talked about in their Kickstarter video and in their campaign and stuff, when they came up with this project, they wanted not just something for people to aimlessly play with, which is, yeah, that's what it is, but they wanted it not just to be kind of nerdy, but to have all these different types of things. Some people like to click things, some people like to spin things or turn things, or whatever, just different types of little tactile motions or feedback. So these 5 buttons here, like if I start in the lower left here, this one is really, it's kind of squishy, but it's kind of firm. The one up in the upper right is also squishy, but it maybe doesn't, I don't know, for some reason to me it feels like it's maybe not quite as, maybe they're the same, but I don't know, one feels a little bit stiffer than the other. And then on the corner, other opposite corners, you have more of a clicky button, almost like you're clicking a pen. So, haha, the Annoyatron. I can annoy people with clicky noises. And then the one in the middle is another click, but it's not, again, this one doesn't feel quite as, it's not quite as raised, and it's not quite as firm. I feel like I can click this one a little bit easier in the middle. So yeah, you got all kinds of little buttons to push. So now we're back to home base here. Now we are going to flip it to the left. This is one of my favorite ones. Now this one, it's got a couple little toys on this side of the cube. On the bottom here, you've got a little trackball thing where you can just kind of spin around. So again, you know, like if you want to click things or spin things or whatever, you get all these little toys you can kind of play with. So this one, you just kind of spin it around. Yeah, it's kind of fun. And then these are, I kind of think of these as like little padlock dials or like little mouse scrolly wheels. It'd be kind of cool if they clicked like a middle mouse button scrolly wheel. That would be kind of cool, but they don't. But they have these, they're really tactile. You see the little ridges on them. And they, when you spin them, you can kind of hear, no, it is not a face, you dumb phone. But they kind of make this little, you know, clicky, it's like a good mouse that has, it's not just a smooth scroll, it's more of a, you know, they have little notches in them. So, yeah, there you go. We got that. And I've been playing with the dark one here. But this is the Kickstarter, this is the Kickstarter green exclusive. You're not going to be able to buy these when they come out for real in retail. But yeah, these are ones because you were bonus, like we could choose to get a special Kickstarter backer version. But so yeah, this is kind of a fun one. Let's see, which way do we rotate here? This way, this way. Okay, yeah, this is our last one, I think. So this one is also a spinny thing, but you're not spinning it like a trackball or a mouse wheel, but this one you're kind of spinning like an actual dial, you know, turning up an old school, like a rotary, like a old, like a volume dial on your receiver or whatever. You don't really have too many of those these days, but yeah, you can spin it left or right, and there you go. Same over here, same thing. I really like the contrast of this one, just the light kind of glowiness of the Kickstarter one. The one on the left here, I think, is a little bit too monotone. I think the gray, I thought on the website, it looked like the gray was like a little bit lighter, so I thought like the dark would stand out a little bit more than it does. But both of them, I kind of wanted a dark cube itself. I didn't really want, I'm not as big a fan of the white, you know, like a white phone or a white cube or, you know, whatever. Not as much of a fan, but yeah, I mean, like a lighter accent color, you know, good contrast, that's kind of cool. I like that. Yeah, this one looks really sharp. I really like this one. But that is Fidget Cube. They did also come with, each one of these came with a little cloth drawstring bag here. Got the little company logo on it. Antsy Labs. Good name. Good name for a product or a company with a product called Fidget Cube. So yeah, that is the Fidget Cube. They will become available to everybody fairly soon, but right now they are finishing up their Kickstarter backer queue. So once that goes, once those are done, then yeah, you'll probably see these start to show up. I will say that there are knockoffs. They sent a couple updates about those for people who are, you know, passing the word around for the Kickstarter or interested in some kind of a geeky little toy like this. There are, you know, just like anything, there are imitators and stuff like that. But these, like Fidget Cube, is the, you know, is the original. Was, you know, Kickstarted. It was backed on Kickstarter. I haven't really looked, but yeah, I guess there's some other kind of knockoffs out there. But yeah, I mean, these are like, what I like about them is there's all kinds of different little tactile, you know, sensations, like tactile feedback that you can get from each side of these little things. And you know, they don't feel cheap. You know, they feel pretty solid. in your hand. They're light, but they're solid, and like, you know, the little components, there all these little moving parts in them, they feel like they're gonna last. Like, you know, okay, I'm just gonna play with these for you know, who knows how long. Yeah, I mean, everything feels really solid, doesn't feel cheap, feels well made. But yeah, there's a little geeky Kickstarter toy for you. Fidget Cube. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Follow me on Twitter at BGFH79. And until next time, I will talk to you guys again later.